229 and 1/4.
So, meal number 1 today. We have got quite a bit going in. We are going to go with peppermint cream AGF today. Now, like you guys will always say, I probably go with peppermint cream as it is my favourite flavour. But we have actually been running between carrot cake and peppermint cream. So basically 1 in the morning, 1 at night time. Just so, not that I don't get bored, I like both of them. But at the same time, I just would like to take in both of them every single day over running just 1 of them. So that was like what I used to always do on prep. I would always take in 1 in the morning with my oats and then 1 at night just as a normal shake with my almonds. So we're going to do that today. We're not going to take in Frosties today. We're actually going to take in these Weetabix minis. Now these are the white chocolate ones. These completely shit on any other cereal that's not Frosties. Even anything to do with pillows that I used to take in. You can't obviously get the ones that I used to have anymore. So it's just, these go further than anything else. I know that Crunchy Nut brung out some form of pillows and they don't even come close to these. So Weetabix minis are going in, AGF is going in, and then we also have golden syrup oat bars. Now the reasoning behind these golden syrup oat bars is I simply cannot eat oats throughout my off season. It's just always been like that thing where once I do prep, oats are like a cheat meal. Oats literally go in so well, and the meal that I look forward to every single day. They're normally first meal every single day. When I wake up, I'm just ready for my oats, or if I go to work and then come home, I'm ready for my oats. And then I just move to my off season and it's like, I don't know, I just can't take the texture, I can't take just the thought of them just makes me sick. And it's so weird because whenever I get back to prep, it just all of a sudden changes and I can take them back in again. I think it's because I know I'm dieting. But throughout the off season, these are perfect. So these are obviously the porridge to go bars. I literally just take in the both of these because there is 80 grams of carbohydrates between the both of these. So I mean, they're perfect in terms of if you are either on the road, you either decide to deliberately miss breakfast because you all of a sudden don't eat breakfast. These are perfect. If you're eating and you're struggling to eat, these are very low volume for 80 grams of carbohydrates. Like, let me just show you. Per 2, so obviously there's 2 of these in here. Look at the size of them. They're literally tiny. And obviously there's 80 grams of carbohydrates between them. So we've went with the golden syrup flavour. I am a fan of either the golden syrup flavour or the almond flavour, but that's what we're going to go for today. So between this meal, there's going to be around kind of 200 grams of carbohydrates. I will include calories and macros and all that on the screen for you guys today because I am going to take you guys through a full day of eating. I'm going to be fully transparent with you guys as well. I'm not going to just deliberately go and get a Papa John's or deliberately go and get a McDonald's or anything like that. I am just going to take you through a realistic day of eating. We are going to finish around the kind of just over 5,000 calorie mark. So food is back up just for the kind of last and final part of my off season. As you guys will know, I don't have that long left in my off season now, so it's just a case of not pushing food to the absolute hilt, but making sure that I am eating enough and making sure that I'm not obviously under eating. Whenever the Arnold's and all the kind of stuff was happening, Expo started happening again, there was a lot of shows happening and things. I was on the road quite a bit, so realistically it was quite hard to take in that amount of calories. So I never came back down to maintenance, but I was just kind of in a small surplus for a little while, which it held my body weight well, it held everything well, held my performance well, which again is obviously going to be the biggest goal and the biggest priority, is making sure that my performance stays up there the way that it needs to be. So that's what it's been anyway. But as we lead up to Christmas now, there's not really that much kind of thing on. Well, I say there's not that much on. There is a couple of things still to go, and there's still a little bit of travelling to go, but nothing as strenuous and nothing as demanding, what you could say, that would take up a lot of time, that would obviously have to be put into cooking and all of that kind of stuff. But this is going to be meal number 1 anyway. So we've got 2 Quaker oat bars. We're going to go in with 150 grams of this Weetabix chocolate minis, and we're also going to go with 37 grams, which does give me 30 grams of protein from this. So just making sure that obviously I take in a sufficient amount of real protein. That's obviously my goal over the course of the off season. I do take upwards of 220 grams of real protein from direct sources. So obviously what my protein main sources come from is my AGF protein, my rapid recovery, and just chicken breast. Sometimes I will implement eggs, but sometimes, mostly, I won't. Obviously eggs and egg whites, I've not actually had them in ages. Carbohydrate sources today are really just going to come from potato, rice, cereal if you want to classify it as, and obviously porridge if you want to classify it as. Bagels as well. We do have actually bagels sitting here, but I know there's actually bagels Big boy bagels in here for anybody that knows that we've got to take in big boy bagels over anything else. And then as you'll see, when I move on to the kind of later on night, I do like to get in at least 3 meals before I train. We'll get that in, and then afterwards, obviously rapid recovery, I will get another meal in, and then I'll kind of move on to something that I maybe like. So not every day, but most days I like to have something that maybe somebody would classify as a treat, or just something kind of down the lines of like pancakes or waffles or something like that. Good carbohydrate sources more than anything else. That's really all you'll see from this. Probably ask me about my fat content. I don't actually take in that much fat compared to how much carbohydrates I take in, but everything goes to plan and everything works the way it needs to. My digestive system's on point, everything's going to plan. Enough protein, and then you'll obviously see trace proteins. Prioritise the carbohydrates, and then fats will come last, because I really just like to I like to prioritise my energy sources more than anything else. And obviously anybody that knows, fats are going to be utilised second over anything else, especially carbohydrates. So meal number 1, I am fucking starving. I do also have a little bit of work to do as well, but yeah, that's going to be it. Meal number 1's going in. I will just catch up with you guys when it's all ready. Major crisis, because the camera's going to die, and I'm going to try and get this on camera of how I make these shakes the best. So 300ml of water, 1 big fat scoop of AGF. Now we really just need this to be around 36 or 37 grams. You guys probably guessed already if you couldn't hear me. 5 ice cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Onto the blender. As you would have seen, I did wake up this morning at 229.25 pounds. So obviously that's where we are sitting right now. That's where really everything's going to be based off of. But what I have just noticed is my camera is on red. I'm of course not prepared, just as usual. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to really stick this battery on charge right now. I really do need to buy a replacement battery, or just kind of buy 100 other batteries to the point that my camera's never going to die. But yeah, it's flashing red. It's been flashing red for like the past 10 minutes. So it's going to be meal number 1. I'm just going to get that. I'm going to stick this on charge, and I will just catch up with you guys when I catch up with you guys. I've slightly overcooked these bagel thins, but we've got 2 of these bagel thins, and we have got 180 grams. Well, 180 grams is the full packet, so I mean, I'm just going off the full packet anyway. I'm not going to sit and weigh out this, especially not throughout my off season anyway. So realistically, this is from Morrison's, so if anything, they're going to do me in chicken. They're not going to give me extra chicken. So 180 grams of chicken tikka. That is simply just going on these 2 chicken bagels. I believe I take around kind of 54 grams of protein from this, obviously from the chicken alone, and then around kind of 10 grams of trace from the bagels. But this is going to be meal number 2, and then we'll be moving on to sweet potato, chicken, a little bit of veg, and it'll be a pre-workout meal, and then it'll be time to train. You probably could never have imagined this is all it's looking like. 2 bagel thins, 180 grams, well, I'm saying 180 grams, no more no less, 180 grams of chicken tikka. Meal number 2. This is probably one of my most favourite meals of the day, and it's been like, I wouldn't say it's been a staple, because there's been a long time where it's not been in, or it's more so went through a phase where it's been in, then it's been out, in, out. But whenever I started my off season, this was like one of the biggest things that I was craving. And to be fair, a bagel thin and 180 grams of chicken breast is not really the worst meal on the planet. But yeah, unbelievable. Meal number 2, let's just get it in. Pre-workout looking like the following: 450 grams of the finest sweet potato. Now, as you'll see, I actually do cut the skin off all of my sweet potato. I've actually always done it throughout prep, and I don't know, people are always against it and say you should keep the skin on, but I've always took it off. But we're going in with 450 grams. I am going to cut these into circles, because it means that it's going to be far more anabolic, and I'm going to have a better leg session. But yeah, like I said, I actually forgot to mention that I am in for legs today. Potentially might squat, might not squat, just depending on how I'm feeling, as I did actually deadlift yesterday, but it's just to try and get my split back on track. As obviously there was a lot of travelling done over the weekend, back to Scotland and things like that. More, I'm going to have chicken with this. I'm also going to have broccoli with this, which is in here. As you will see, a nice big fat tree in here. But that's really going to be it. I'm just going to cook this up in this right here, which is just the air fryer. That's how these always get made. I literally just cut them up and throw them in there, nice and easy, make them into chips. That's been the biggest game changer throughout my bodybuilding career, which is just the air fryer more than anything else. Anything at all goes in this, but mostly just my potato as especially when it gets to prep, I eat quite a lot of it. Meal number 3 going in, we have got 450 grams of sweet potato, as you would have seen, 200 grams of chicken breast, and we've got, give or take, around 100 grams of broccoli. So that is going to be my pre-workout meal today. Nice and full, nice and a good big plate full anyway. As you'll see, obviously, when I kind of make the transition into prep, this will really be all the food choices, what you could say, that will be taken in. I don't really take anything else apart from oats, sweet potato, white potato. That is literally my diet. That's what my contest prep consists of. And again, I like to obviously make sure that I keep in foods throughout my off season that will be in my contest prep. Just down to the fact that I don't want to make it extremely hard when making the transition from my off season to my contest prep. For example, if I was taking in the total opposite foods of sweet potato and white potato, oats, example, for etc, 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 sorry, it would be much harder making that transition from eating none of what I was going to be eating to literally moving on to a meal plan for the next 5-6 months of just that one food. It would be so much harder to kind of make that transition. So that's obviously the reason behind keeping this sort of food in throughout the off season. Again, it's really good food. My body needs really good food, especially to grow. As much as it does need a lot of extra calories, it does need a lot of good nutrients going in. So that's why I do make sure that obviously I do take in a sufficient amount of protein from direct sources, carbohydrates from direct sources as well. But mostly from the fat side of things, it's just trace. But this is going to be pre-workout legs on the cards tonight as well. We've also got a shaker of water here as well. That is probably one of the things that I did lack on throughout my kind of past off seasons, was not keeping hydrated. And again, at the time, I probably never realised how much it was taken away from me. But looking back at it now, I kind of wish that that was probably one of the things that I did stay on top of, just because of going into the gym and potentially not being the most hydrated ever. You may not notice it at the time, but it can have a massive effect. So that's one thing I would recommend for anybody, especially most of the younger generation that come up that maybe don't like drinking water. Not the nicest thing ever, it's just boring old plain. I suppose you could maybe flavour it up. You don't need to necessarily have just plain water, but at the same time, I would just recommend being hydrated more than anything else. But meal number 3, pre-workout meal, then it'll time for legs. Supplementation, guys, for going into the gym. Just the goddamn usual defib. No code. Carb up. And ride on. Cover this in most videos, guys. I'm not going to go straight into depth with it, but obviously no code and carb up's going to be my intra, defib's going to be my pre, and also ride on. For ride on is going to go in right now, which has came out to be probably one of the most popular supplements on the market today. Now for ride on right there. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this. Obviously it is HR Labs' pump formula, count no code, and carb up. I can't even speak now. We're going to go in with defib. I'm going to put them in here, and then we're going to go and train some legs. Also, I did actually forget to mention that in the morning I do take a multivitamin, and obviously last thing at night I do have my basic, which is just I'm trying to just kind of cover all supplements, just to kind of make sure that everything is in this video, as it is a full day of eating. I'm going to include all supplements and all that kind of stuff in this video, just to make sure that I go over absolutely everything. post-workout meal going in here, guys. So nice and easy again, just a simple bro meal here. We've got 200 grams of chicken breast, 200 grams of cooked rice, and of course some more of the good old broccoli. Got a nice dark berry tango to wash it down. Now this is obviously the sugar-free one. This is arguably one of the nicest drinks that I've had. Probably won't top Pepsi Max, but is like very much up there, and again very much won't top Iron Brew Extra, but it's definitely up there. So I would recommend trying this out if you can get your hands on it. I believe you can get it at like all of your bigger supermarkets and that. I've not really seen it at any smaller shops, but that's going to be washed down with that. This is obviously post-workout after my rapid recovery. Going to stick some YouTube on as well. You're probably sitting there thinking that's a bit boring. I did forget to mention that I'm going to put this sweet chili sauce all over this because it just makes any form of meal that much nicer. Normal original sweet chili sauce. This is like a staple throughout the off season, and was definitely a staple throughout last off season. So it's staying in this one, and then the unfortunate part of it getting taken out of prep, it's just something I'm going to have to deal with. But yeah, let's just get into it. Had quite the accident. So after that post-workout meal went in, I was absolutely like so starving, so hungry, the hungriest I've ever been. So 4 marshmallow square bars went in. Best flavour out of all of them. I don't even care what anybody says. I would absolutely choose these over the chocolate and caramel ones, but 4 of them went in. We will now move on to our next meal in around kind of an hour to 2 hours time, or maybe an hour and a half depending on how hungry I am, which will just be, I believe, we're going to go in for some pancakes tonight and then another AGF shake, and that will be me. So guys, just before I wrap this full day of eating up, we are moving on to our last and final meal, or what you could say snack of the day. So it's going to be 4 large buttermilk pancakes, and we've got 60 grams of your finest Nutella on there as well, just to make them a little bit easier to go down. We also have the second last supplement of the day. I do have another AGF shake to go, which will be my carrot cake shake of the day, as obviously I did have peppermint cream this morning. So this is going to be basic, which is obviously, like I said, my last and final, or second last supplement I should say, of the day. Now, if anything, this is probably the one and only supplement aside of whey protein that I would recommend to anybody that can afford supplements. This is basic, which is a hydration formula, a saturation formula from, or a saturation drink I should say, from HR Labs. Now what I will do is I will stick the panel on the screen for you guys so you can literally see what is in this and what it does as well. This is, I would never go a day without this now. Never. I don't think I've went a day without it. Started taking it, it'll be upwards of 2 years now, and I've literally not went a day without it. Like the stuff that this has done for me in terms of hydration, the stuff that this has done for me in terms of strength, gains all over the board, it's just been incredible. So if there's anything or any one supplement that I would recommend for you guys to take or get your hands on, it would be basic from HR Labs. Now, I don't really plug the companies too much in terms of my discount code and things like that, but obviously I do have a code for HR Labs, and I also do have a code for Strength Shop, which is KHIFIE15 for HR Labs, and it's just KHIFIEWEST for Strength Shop. Now again, I don't really plug them too much in terms of pushing them, as I do obviously feel like it's a little bit endless, but at the same time it does help me out a lot and it does support me a lot whenever you guys use my code. So if you ever do pick up things, I do very much appreciate you guys using my code. But that is really going to be it for this video. I do hope you guys have enjoyed this one. If you have enjoyed it, then please do not forget to drop the video a like for me, because it does help me out a lot. Comment down below anything you would like to see on this channel, anything that you would like to see me do or bring. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new about here, and I will see you all in the next video.